We're back by popular demand. It's Season 2 of the Wedcast, brought to you by Film Media Wedding Videography. It's Wednesday, can only mean one thing. It is time for the Wedcast. My name is James, and welcome to episode 7. This season is absolutely flying by, but we continue to get better and better with the guest appearances. This week we are talking to Toastmaster and Master of Ceremonies, Bob Lloyd. He's also actually, here's a fun fact for you, the official town crier of Norwich. So we'll be having a chat with him today. He'll be talking about how he became a Toastmaster, and also what a Toastmaster actually does at a wedding and what his role is at a wedding. So yeah, that's all to come today. We'll also have Leo here as well, who's got another amazing question. Again, as I say this every week, you never know what Leo's going to have in store. Anyway, without further ado, I present to you Toastmaster and Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Bob Lloyd. Okay, Bob, welcome to the Wedcast. Nice to have you on. How are you today?
Oh, fine, my man. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you on. It's been a little while since we've seen each other in person. Obviously, lives are busy and everything like that. What's been going on in the world of Toastmasters?
Well, not a great deal at the moment, obviously, because this time of the year with sort of weddings don't start up until, well, from my point of view, although I have actually, having said that, I've done 2 already, but busy time sort of, it starts to get after Easter, really, and that's, but I have got some big events coming up in the next couple of weeks, but apart from that, just catching up with people and trying to get some bookings that want to see wedding shows, and hopefully, seeing some fruit from that. We've got the big show coming up in a couple of weeks. Oh no, a week's time. Although I won't be at all of that, unfortunately, because I've got a big event on the Saturday.
And that's the Norfolk Showground one, the 2-day event?
That's right, yes. I'm only going to be there on the Sunday, but my daughters will be on my stand on the Saturday, because I should be at Dunstan Hall all day on Saturday for my Toastmaster Association AGM, and it's at Dunstan this year here in Norwich, because I should be made up to the president of the association. So
wow.
That's what's happening on Saturday.
Yeah, big news. That's really good. So, before we get started properly today, a lot of people who are listening are like obviously bride and grooms who are obviously planning their wedding. Can you explain kind of what is a role of a Toastmaster, and why is it really important to have a Toastmaster at your wedding?
Well, the role of the Toastmaster is to make sure everything runs smoothly from start to finish, really. And hopefully it takes all the pressure, all the stress away from the bride and sometimes the parents as well, and they can just relax and enjoy the day. Yeah,
so it's kind of like, from your point of view, obviously, as a videographer myself, I've obviously worked with yourself and Toastmasters before. It's kind of like you help organise the guests. So, for example, like with group photos and stuff, you can call upon the guests, or calling them into the room for the wedding breakfast and bits like that. But I guess there's a lot more involved than that, I suppose.
Well, we make sure everybody's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's key to it, really. And, of course, that involves meeting with the couple beforehand and helping them plan the day, because if I don't know what's happening, then there's not much point. So we try to advise them and give them a bit of a helping hand and give them an idea of timings, and they can do what they like when they like, because it's their day.
Absolutely.
It's just a case of my knowing what should be happening and making it happen so they can enjoy the day.
So how did you get yourself into this line of work of becoming a Toastmaster? Is this something you've always done, or did you...
How long have you got? I've always been involved up front. I used to play guitar and sing a lot, especially in church groups.
Okay.
And I played in a number of bands and that around, since the 70s, really. And so I was used to being up front, and I was often asked to help guide people through things like their special birthdays or things like that, special celebrations, just being the one who would make sure everything, as I do now, happened at the right time and that. And one day somebody said to me at one of these birthday parties, a friend's 50th birthday, after the birthday, they said to me, thank you, Bob, for doing all of that. He said, you do that sort of thing ever so well, don't you? And unashamedly, I said, "Actually, yes, I do, don't I?"
Wow.
It was one of those moments when people say, the blue light goes on over your head.
Yep.
And it just lit up, and I thought, yeah, I do. And at that point in time, I was looking for, or trying to think of something that I could do when I retired. Because at that time I'd been working for Royal Mail for about 22 years, and I just needed something to. I was coming up to the age when I thought, well, maybe in about another 5 or 6 years' time, I'm going to be retiring. So what am I going to do then?
Yeah.
And that's how it sparked off. Really, I looked on the internet to see what I could do, and the thing about Toastmastering came up. So that's what I began to do, look into that, and found out, excuse me, that there was a Toastmastering course here in Norfolk, run every 6 months by the founder of the association that I'm in now, and so I went along and did that. It involved about just under a week staying in the hotel locally in Heatherset, and studying and passing the exam at the end, and
Okay.
and buying the red coat and all the trimmings to go with it.
So you have to do an
There we
exam.
are.
You have to do an exam to become a Toastmaster. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, the point is, actually, James, anybody can put on a red coat
Yep.
and call themselves a Toastmaster or a compere, Master of Ceremonies, whatever you like. But the point of a Toastmaster is, it's a very old profession, and we actually train in all aspects of the job, right through from things like royalty, attending, to royalty, having to cope with things like that, dinners and the such like, Jewish weddings, obviously these days, pink weddings and things like that, any sort of Masonic dues, ladies' nights especially, things like that. The weddings, of course, is what we call the bread and butter.
Yep.
But, and we're trained fully in all aspects of a Toastmaster's work. So it becomes a profession. It's not just a job. It's an actual professional role to actually do.
And is it a long course that you have to do? How long?
Well, the thing was, actually, I was quite good because the course that I first looked at, they were all done in London, and they took over about 2 or 3 years. You would go down and do stuff now and then you would go and do something, and then you'd be tested on that, and it was going to take an age. And then the people I was speaking to then put me on the track of the course here in Norwich, and we were there for a week. We were in the hotel for just under a week, as I say.
Fantastic.
And we had all our meals. We stayed in. And that sort of thing. So, we were we paid about $2,500 to do the whole thing, and qualify at the end. And we got our gavel and block as a prize at the end as well, passing. So
and
when you see me using my gavel and block, that is what I received from the training.
Wow, so you've still got the same one, which is really good.
I've still got the same one, yes.
Fab.
People have tried to nick it and hide it from me on occasions, but I've still got it.
And that's special to you, obviously, because obviously that's what you got during your training, and it's a lovely thing. Obviously, for you, it's kind of like them giving you, there we go, now you're a Toastmaster, and I think that's really nice. A really nice sort of passing it on to you. Here we go. This is what you've become now. I love that. That's amazing. So it's the Association of the UK School of Professional Toastmasters. That's right, isn't it? I think that's what it says.
That's right. Yes, well done. Yeah.
I've done a little bit of looking on your website today. Obviously, I was trying to get to the bottom of Master of Ceremonies as well, because obviously you're a Toastmaster / Master of Ceremonies. Would you say Master of Ceremonies is more for other events and Toastmasters mainly for weddings?
Well, we put that on there because what people, a lot of the time, especially at the wedding shows, people see us in the red coat and they say, "What are you? What's a Toastmaster? What does a Toastmaster do?"
Yeah.
So that's really why I put Master of Ceremonies on there, because people know what an MC is, what they do.
Yeah.
But the MC again, we can adapt to any sort of situation. I mean, I've done things obviously in the black jacket rather than the red one, if that's what the client wants. I've even done it in the sparkly silver jacket as well, for a bit of fun. But excuse me, sorry. We can do any occasion and dress to suit, really.
So so you're not just the Toastmaster, you're actually the official town crier of Norwich, is that still correct?
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, yes, we call it the city crier, obviously, because we're a city.
Yeah.
Although I do tend to say town crier for the city of Norwich, because people understand what a town crier is. Well, some people do, but
and that's
so we do that. That's a different uniform altogether.
And that's your hear ye, that's a very old sort of profession, isn't it? The old town crier.
Yeah, we don't say hear ye, we say oh yay.
Oh yay, sorry.
Yay.
There you go. That just shows how.
It means the same, but that's what we say. I mean, interestingly enough, I actually got the job of the city crier because I was a Toastmaster.
Wow. Okay.
They were advertising for a deputy city crier because the guy who did it, who was very popular, very well known around the city, was going to retire, they thought. So they wanted someone to step into his shoes and take over from him. As it turned out, he lasted another 6 or 7 years, and I didn't. So I did quite a long deputy stint as deputy town crier. But when they were advertising for the job, a lot of my mates, because I was still at Royal Mail then, they said, "Oh, you could go for that, Bob, and do that." And I said, "Well, I don't think so." I said, "I've only just started this Toastmastering lark, and it's a bit, be a bit too much because you have to buy your own uniform and all that sort of thing." But then Royal Mail, in their wisdom, they were getting rid of staff, and they offered us, a group of us, sort of a redundancy package, stroke retirement, to get rid of us. So that came up then, and I applied or contacted the City Hall, and it was actually past the deadline for applications. So I said to the lady, "Oh, that's a shame." She said, "Yeah, I'm very sorry, but the deadline's gone now to apply."
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Oh, that's a shame, because I am a professional Toastmaster." Which she obviously knew what it was, and that sort of changed her attitude quite amusingly. She said, "Oh, are you? Oh, well, I'll get back to you.
Fantastic.
Hang on."
Fantastic.
And she got back to me another day later and offered me a come in for an interview, and which I did, and we had to stand on the steps of City Hall and ring Val David was a city crier at the time, and ring his bell and make a cry that he had prepared. And then the next day they actually rang me up and offered me the job.
Wow, that's brilliant.
And I wasn't quite sure whether I actually wanted it at that point, to be quite honest, but I did. In the accepted the next day. I said, let's go for it. So that's what we did. So that's how I became town crier as well.
So as you are like a city stroke town crier, is that for like big events that they use you, or is it like a regular thing you do? I'm not too familiar with what sort of thing a city or a town crier does.
Well, there's actually only about four or five things that I do during the year on the civic side of things.
Yep.
That means that obviously there's the Lord Mayor's procession.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
That we have through the city in July, first Saturday in July, which I lead that. There are also the mayor making. Every year we have a new mayor and sheriff. Yep. Of Norwich.
Oh, I never knew we had a sheriff.
That happens in May, and I officiate at the ceremony for that. Or I say officiate, I make the announcements. Because the city clerk does most of the work. But and then the other times are the Freemen of Norwich. I don't know if you've heard of the Freemen of Norwich.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have. In fact, they got a ceremony coming up in. And at the end of this month, actually, is it, or next month? And I think it's the 1st of March, and that's in City Hall, and I do all the announcements for that as well. But of course, I can do a lot of other stuff as well. I've hired myself out to quite a number of companies in the city to advertise. You know, they might have a special sale on, or just to advertise their business and things like that. And we walk around the streets of Norwich and tell everybody about what this company or who they are.
I love it.
That sort of thing. I also do our Mr. Stay one as well. And of course, we've also had recently to announce the death of the Queen and the appointment and coronation of the King as well. So we do a little bit.
A few different bits, yeah. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you as well about Santa Bob. Tell me about him.
Oh, well, I don't think we can say too much about that. It might be children listening, you know.
Okay, yeah. Well, so Santa Bob is a friend of yours, I guess, and he.
Oh yes. Thank you.
He'll be around in December, I should imagine. We'll have a chat with him then.
November and December, he's around quite a lot. Yes, I think this year he saw about 1,000 children. I think at his grotto at Highways.
Fantastic.
Garden Centre. So.
That's such a lovely, rewarding job that you have, Bob.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So going back to weddings then. So obviously you're based in Norfolk. Do you ever travel outside of Norfolk for any weddings?
Oh yeah. We go. We cross the border to Suffolk and Essex and that, and been down to London a few times and that. So yeah, we get about. We go wherever anybody wants us and is willing to pay. To be quite honest, because obviously, if we're travelling, I've been down to one or two big weddings and that in hotels in London and that sort of thing. Mostly Asian ones, to be quite honest.
Nice. Yeah.
Where they have sort of about 400 or 500 guests and that. And that involves staying overnight or maybe a couple of nights, because they tend to want you from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, sort of thing.
Wow.
So it's an all-day thing.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of filming a Hindu wedding earlier on when I first started out, and it's a very different ball game to the traditional British weddings, and it's an all-day. Well, sometimes it's a few-day event. So yeah.
Oh well, from their point of view, it is. Yes, yeah. Oh, they do lots both sides of it. Yes, yeah.
So, in regard, we spoke a little bit about wedding fairs. So, you've got the Norfolk show one coming up. Do you do many wedding fairs in the year?
I have done it in the past, James. Yeah, but I tend not to do too many now because I just do what comes along. To be quite honest, I do the Dunstan Hall one, and I've got a company over a venue over in Huckwold Hall, over near Thetford that way, and I think there's one of the other venues that recommends me is the Hotel Victoria in Lower Stoft.
Yep.
And sometimes every year, I think they usually have one on the day there. But I tend not to, spend all the money going on to these other wedding fairs now. I get, interestingly, I'm getting quite a few contacts from the website. Which seems to be doing its job very well, despite all the emails I get saying, I've seen your website and it looks like it needs a bit of attention. Can we help you? And that's I got an inquiry the other day saying, I found you. I asked how they found me, and then she said, well, I just Googled it and you came top, and
that's great.
Watched the video of you on there, and thought you're the chap for the job. So.
Well, I was going to mention your website. Obviously, you've got a website. Are you active at all on social media?
Yes, we do Facebook, and trying to get my head around this. What's the one? The reels and things like that, and
the TikTok,
Twitter I'm on, and
Twitter
all those
and
things.
Instagram.
But, I tend not to do too much, just a little bit here and there, So it's can be crazy otherwise. Just don't have the time to do too much.
So, in regards to booking you, so as a bride and groom, if I was going to come and book you for a wedding, you'd obviously recommend maybe a phone call first, or do you meet the bride and groom first to go over the day? How does it normally work, the booking process with you?
Well, if a couple see me at a wedding show, or they're interested, or they just see me on the website, and they get in touch with me, first thing, of course, is am I available? So if I am, and they're interested, I give them usually there is a sort of set fee, but depending on where they are, which is in Norfolk sort of thing, and a little bit into Suffolk. But then if they're really interested, I send them a booking form with terms and conditions. And if they want to go ahead, they can just book me straight away. Or if they want to meet me before they book, I'm very willing to do that in Norwich. So if they come over and speak to me in Norwich and have a coffee somewhere.
Lovely.
And then they can decide they want to... If they've seen me at a wedding show, then they'll usually know whether they want to book me or not. You know, it'll come through. But if it's just through the website and they want to meet first, then that's fine, you know, and we take it from there, really. And then we arrange, once they book me, we will arrange an hour and a half meeting where we can sit down and go through the whole day, you know, and just say what times things are going to happen, and like I say, help them plan it through.
And do you like a deposit, and then they have to pay it nearer the time? How does it work?
Yeah. Usually just ask for a booking fee to go with it, just to confirm.
Yeah.
And then the balance is due a couple of weeks beforehand.
Fantastic. So Toastmaster's obviously been around for a little while, and do many more people sort of go along the lines like you train, and is it quite a big thing where people training all the time to become a Toastmaster, or is it something, do you think, that's getting less, more of a tradition?
No, well, it is traditional, but it's we have, like I say, a training school, which was started 25 years ago. That's why we're celebrating this year the 25th anniversary of it.
Fantastic.
I mean, in the last year or so, I think we've had about five or six new Toastmasters at least train and qualify to become a professional, call themselves a professional Toastmaster. And we get what we call a jewel around your neck, you know, just a little emblem to show, you know, that you are a professional Toastmaster and not someone who's just put on a red coat. And you can always tell a professional because of the smartness that they are, and not just someone who's got a white shirt on and a dicky bow and things like that. You know, you've got to be the proper dress, correct dress.
Absolutely. I mean, when I got married myself in 2010, I had a Toastmaster, and I think it's a really important part because obviously it helps make the day run smoothly, and obviously you can say, well, if I don't have a Toastmaster, I've got the venue who can help me through it. But I think you need sometimes to have that organisation there, obviously, to help guests who've not been to the venue before, show them where they need to go if they've got any questions or concerns on the day. I think it's really important, and it's really important for the bride and groom as well, because it obviously gives them the confidence and makes them feel happy as well that everything's running smoothly and on time. Yeah,
I think the point is, I think a lot of we do a lot more than the, no disrespect men, but to the coordinators at the venues at some times.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes they're very glad to see someone like me turn up because they don't really like shouting out to people or getting organising people. They're fine with all the planning, but it just takes the pressure off them as well, to be quite honest, and it makes it a lot easier for people to enjoy the day, because people see the red coat and they know who's in charge, as it were, whereas the coordinator will probably be just smartly dressed in the like the venue are, people at the venue, and they do have other responsibilities at times. And might get called away to do something else. If it's the duty manager, he's going to be in charge of other stuff as well within the hotel. So to have the professional Toastmaster there who knows what's happening, knows what's going on, can make the adjustments to the day as and when necessary if needed, then he's there all the time with them, completely throughout the day. He doesn't bunk off or anything else. Although we will have might have a sandwich now and then, at lunchtime perhaps.
Yeah, of course. Well, you've got to eat. Everyone's got to eat. You know what I mean? If you're there all day, because wedding days are lovely, but sometimes can be a long day. Obviously, for any of the professionals who work like yourself, myself, or photographers, it can be a long day. So you have to obviously look after yourself still, as well as looking after the bride and groom.
Yeah. I think. I wouldn't be a photographer, because I have to be there a lot longer than I do, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
They're right from 8 o'clock in the morning to getting everybody, filming or photographing everybody who's getting ready, sort of thing. Absolutely. And they're there like me to the first dance. I do the ceremony, the wedding breakfast and the first dance. That's usually what I cover.
Yeah.
Right up to the evening, because it can just doing the ceremony. If it's all in the same venue, it just makes it a nice, nice start to the day, sort of thing. People see me right at the beginning, and I'm there right to the end of it when they start to party. And my time to go then.
So you're there mainly for the formalities, obviously, like the cake cut as well, as you said, the first dance and various things like that, which I think is really good.
Yeah, throwing the bouquet if they're going to do that, and cutting the cake and all the bits and pieces, obviously speeches and things like that, making sure gifts are on hand for them to give out if they're doing that, ensuring people sign the guest book as well, which is often missed,
Yes, yeah.
You get to sort of 10 and 11 o'clock at night and look at your guest book, and then about 3 people have signed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm there, to make sure, go around the tables and chat to people, tell them a few jokes, might even do a card trick or something.
Okay.
1 or 2 things like that, just to keep people entertained, and make sure people are enjoying the day. Because even sitting around at a meal, sometimes things, the conversation dries up, sort of thing. Whereas if you've got somebody coming around just to chatting to people, and telling them how, I used to work in a pottery but I fell in the kiln and got fired, things like
that. You say a couple of card tricks. I think one of the first memories I have of you is I went to a wedding fair, this before I got started, and I was just I was walking around my son, and I'm pretty sure you showed him this magic colouring in book.
The magic colouring book, yes.
That's very nice. Do you take that for the kids at weddings and stuff sometimes?
Well, if it's suitable, yes. I mean, we don't push things out. It's just a case of gauging the whole sort of day, really. And if there's 3 or 4 children about and they sort of start running about and getting restless, then we pull that out. I mean, I have to thank, and I'll give credit where it's due here, I have to thank Ollie Day for that.
Ollie Day.
Because, Ollie, he was at a wedding show years and years ago.
Yeah.
And he had that magic colouring book, and I couldn't work it out at all. And in the end, I went on the net and bought one, and then I saw how to do it, sort of thing. And it's a real winner for the little ones, and the older people like it too. Actually, to be quite honest, all the guests like it.
And they're like, "How have you managed to make them disappear and then colour it in? Brilliant! Yeah, no, it's classic. I absolutely love that." So you were the winner of Bride Book Awards wedding 2019. What did you have to do?
Oh
to do that?
I went in for that then. Yes, yeah. I tend not to bother to go in for those sort of things now again anymore.
No.
To be quite honest, I don't know. In fact, I don't know quite how I won that actually, because these bridal award things, they never have a category for Toastmasters.
Do they not?
No, it's always, that's the special touch or that extra touch, which could be anybody sort of thing. So, it's nice to get something that I don't bother with it there, to be quite honest.
No, fad. Well, do you know what? It's a nice thing to have on your website. I mean, I myself have done it in the past with the Wedding Industry Awards, and it's a nice thing to have. But I think, you don't necessarily need it, and it's just a nice thing for couples to see,
Well, if people can see you in action and do that, I mean, because we get a lot of people. In fact, the wedding I've got this next week, is it a week after anyway? I'll tell you when it is, the 29th, that's right, 29th of February. Yep. So they're only going to be celebrating once every 4 years. But they saw me at another wedding, a couple of years ago, and, they saw what I did and they booked me for their wedding. So
nice.
You get referrals and stuff like that. So,
That's nice.
That's enough for me at this time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So booking-wise, how are you looking for this year? Are you getting full up?
Yeah, like I say, June, May, June, July, August, September. There's quite a few in there. They're quite the busy months.
They're the prime months,
sort of thing. So coming from the weekend, at the showground, you never know.
Oh, well, yeah. Good luck. Hopefully, you'll get a lot of bookings out of that. So I'm going to pass you over now to Leo. I don't know if you've heard the show before, but Leo is my 11-year-old son. He is busting to ask you a question.
Right.
And so what I'll do is I'll pass over to him now. He's going to ask you a question, and all I can say is good luck. So we're going to the mind of an 11-year-old here, so you have to just bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to bring Leo in now.
Hi Bob, hope you're well. Do you think the tradition of the red coat for the Toastmaster will always be around, or do you think it will ever change colour?
Oh, well, that's a good question, Leo. Thanks for that. I think it will be around for quite a while, because I've just been saying it's actually something that when people see it, they know somebody is in charge. And it's actually not, although it's a red coat, it's actually called a hunting pink, because it's named after Mr. Pink, who actually first made the red coat. So that's why it's called a hunting pink. And you see the same sort of coat that people on the hunts wear and things like that. And because it's so distinctive, I think that it's going to be around for a little bit longer, quite a while really. It just signifies, that you are a professional Toastmaster.
Do you have quite a few of these hunting pink coats, or?
Actually, yeah. Well, I've got two that I use. I've got a spare that I always take to back up. It's probably like photographers and people like that. They've always got a backup camera and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So I always like to go to any function where I've got a whole full set, of a spare set of trousers and shirt and waistcoat and red jacket as well, and shoes, just in case. You never know what's going to happen at a wedding. You might fall over in the mud, or you might have your meal spilled down you, or wine poured over you, or something like that. So it's always best to have a backup in the car in case you need it.
Anything can happen at a wedding, as you know.
Anything, yes.
The trick is, though, Bob, not to put the red coat in the washing machine with your whites. I should imagine that wouldn't go very well.
No, they all get laundered.
Absolutely, I was going to say.
Dry cleaned, yeah.
I was going to say. Well, so Bob, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on and to hear about what you do. I really hope you have a fantastic wedding season coming up, and obviously you do really well at these wedding fairs, and hopefully we'll have a chance to work together again this season.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, look forward to it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll catch up soon. Well, that is episode 7 wrapped up. I just want to say a massive thank you to Bob for coming on. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, Bob. I hope you have a wonderful wedding season ahead of you, and good luck with everything you're doing, obviously. The town crier stuff in Norwich is fantastic as well, and hopefully I'll get to hang out with you at a wedding this year. Next week, we will be talking to the amazing Sean Goodman, who is a magician. Now, I know we had a magician last series. My good friend Ed came on. Sean is another magician, but he does very different style to Ed. So we're going to be talking about styles, and we're going to be seeing what Sean has in store for us, and telling us all hopefully some magic and some tricks of the trade. So yeah, that's episode 8 next week. It's been an absolute pleasure to carry on doing the show. Thank you again, Leo, for your amazing question for Bob. And we'll see you all next week, and I'll catch you guys on the flip.